All right, you are here for another episode of Epic Voices Podcast, a space where students, leaders, change makers speak truth, build bridges, and inspire action. I'm your host, Sharon Hathaway, co-founder, COO here of Epic Youth. And today's conversation, I want to really, before I get into, I'm going to tell you who we have here, but it's about generations of growth. And in the generations of growth, it's really a conversation that's created a space and intentional dialogue across identity, manhood, personal growth, life transitions. We're going to talk about finances. We're going to talk about career, all those hard lessons that we had to learn throughout the life, mentorship, faith, all the above. So today we have several generations represented at the table, right? Young professionals, if I can say, I am a young professional. I think you need to know that. All right, but we're joined today, and I'll start with the man to my right, or the young man to my right, if I would say, and he's a high school student. He's a part of our Epic High School Young Professionals. He's a part of our council, which is our leaders of the group of our students. He's also goes to Olentangy High School, basketball player, 4.0 student, Trey Nellen. Can we give Trey some love?
Hey, Trey.
What's up, Trey?
Don't forget football, too.
Oh, football. That's right. Football player. So, yes, Trey is here. No, just playing with you. He's a dog. My God. All right. And in addition to Trey Nellen, we got a I would say, young professional, right?
Under 40. Under 40.
Right. So we have Vice President of Chase Bank. I would say that. And I like to say this, too. Also, congrats. He was nominated 40 under 40. Here recently, which is a huge deal.
Congratulations.
I would also call, if I could say this, I would say community engagement extraordinaire, Mr. Marlon Platt. Can we give it up for him too? Show him some love.
Go.
All right. Our next, I would call him a seasoned general, right? And this man here is also a retired professional in the financial services. I would even say an expert in business development as well as insurance.
Semi-retired.
Semi-retired? You still in the game? Still making money. Yeah, you hear that? He's still making money. And I would also say one thing that's very important to him is also his faith. He's a minister of the faith of the gospel, which is a huge deal. And I'll be remiss when I say, and this is also my father-in-law. So Mr. Rafus Campbell, let's give it up, man. Let's give it up. Oh, I should give you team accolades, former track star and a football player and college. Let's go. Come on, somebody. Every generation is shaped by different influences. Before growth, we must understand our true foundation, right? So what happened, or I would just say, what shaped us most as growing up as young men, as boys? What are some of those influences, the understanding of manhood, maybe people, what shaped us? Can I lead that question off? Can I start that off with, let's go, Coach.
So what shaped me?
That's right.
As a child growing up? I think what shaped me was by listening and learning and doing what was set before me as far as my parents. I was brought up in church as a kid and watching other men in church, what they've done. I played Adam League baseball, Little League baseball, Pony League baseball, always had a coach. High school, ran track, played football, and I think those coaches, they all went to the same school because they all said the same thing. And I remember some of the things that my high school coach has said. I remember some of the things that my college football coach has said. Just going through life, and being able to listen and not really paying attention, but you're listening anyway, that kind of shaped my life because I'm asking and I'm praying, bring these things back to my memory, what I've learned. And the things that we go through now, or the things that we are doing now, is some things that happened in our former years. And if we really think about it, we're saying some of the same things we've heard as kids, that our parents, our relatives, our coaches, our leaders, and we're like, oh wow, I didn't know I knew that,
Yeah.
but now I do. And putting those things in perspective as a adult, and nothing changes. It doesn't.
And all these years.
Just time.
Yeah, that's good.
Just time.
Marlon, tell us, what shaped you most?
I grew up in a two-parent household, which,
Okay.
as you get older, you really appreciate that. An obstetric household, two working professional parents. And like Brother Campbell said, there were a number of different influences, but I don't think there's too much that's new. And so I like to tell people is I was raised inside the house and outside the house. And so inside the house being, youngest of four boys, you always look up to your older brothers. I have two loving parents. And so the example they set, really coming from an accountability and a respect and just good habits kind of workplace.
Yeah.
And then outside the house, sports and just music culture and all those different things that we shape, but particularly sports, growing up, having coaches that taught you those things like discipline, like teamwork, like accountability, like no excuses, like showing up even when you don't feel your best.
Right.
Those are things, like you said, Brother Campbell, that you look up 10, 15, 20 years later, and those are still lessons that apply.
That's
You're
good.
no longer playing the game anymore, the sport anymore, but they're more like life lessons, things you learn being a parent that you apply, being a parent, things that apply to a workplace. And so I would say that is what kind of molded me and shaped me as a young youth to now a young professional still.
Yeah, that's right. That's
sure.
right. Well, that's good. Trey, what do you think? What you're still young, you're still living life and having those experiences right now, but from your perspective, what do you feel like is shaping you to becoming the person you want to be or who you are?
I'll say definitely like the environment around me.
Okay.
Like growing up, playing sports, growing up in school, definitely like the environment around me shaped me. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Trey, and that's good that you said the environment around you, because it leads me to another question that I think will help us as, we're all still on our own journey, right?
Right.
But I think about, what do you feel people misunderstand about your generation?
I'll say definitely like what being a man is. Like I think a lot of people say that just being a man is just like necessarily being tough, but when it's not just that, it's about handling the responsibilities that come your way, about being accountable, and definitely just about making sure not only you're good yourself, but making sure all the others around you are definitely good. So I don't think it's just about being like big and bad or like tough and like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? And how is that going to affect the others around me? I think that's what.
I gotta say something about that. I think that was a good point you brought up, because I don't know, Marlon, if you could resonate with this, and I definitely don't know, if I could call you Ray, Pops, like, you know what I mean? That, but I feel like growing up, it was like about being tough. Like, so now you're saying that it's not all about being tough. It's just about being, it's also knowing why and how, and, being who you are at that moment and feeling, right? And a little bit of all of those emotions, right? But I will pose this. What was it like, Ray, for you growing up? Was it that, was it always about being tough? Like, where does that, I feel like we have pressure about like, just you strong men, just be strong. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Like Marlon and like all of us, I had a two-parent family as well. My dad was a lot older than me. My dad was born in 1906. So he had me probably in his maybe mid-50s. One thing, I had someone ask me this question, I had another session, and they asked me, well, what did you learn as a kid? I said, you know what? I played, I was good in running track, I was good in baseball, I was good in football. I said, but my dad never played catch with me. He never, either baseball or football. I don't know if he's ever, maybe he's come to maybe a couple of baseball games.
yeah.
Later in life, now, I knew then why he didn't or why whatever. But one thing he taught me is that he taught me how to work. Like you said, the accountability and the responsibility of being a man. And then later on in life, I became a husband and became a father. I tell the young fellas in my family, whether if it's my oldest son, Micah, or then his son, Christian. And then I tell my youngest grandson, Caleb, if I'm leaving the house and they're over to the house, I'll tell them, Caleb, I'm leaving. That means if grandmother or if your sister need anything, make sure you got to take care of it. Make sure that you are the man of the house because I'm leaving now.
Mm.
And he says, okay, Papa. And then next time he knows already, Caleb,
Yeah.
I'm leaving the house.
Yeah.
Okay, Papa. What is that doing for him? I have no idea. Maybe it's giving him that accountability, the responsibility that if Papa is leaving, now you're the man of the house. You stay in guard. And that accountability, that responsibility as a man. Jerome, I think being conscious of knowing that when my dad is not there,
Yeah.
I've got to take that responsibility. And I want to say this, there's no playbook.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no book on this.
Yeah.
We just gotta do it
Yeah.
and jump in and do it. Yeah.
You have any feedback on that, Marlon?
Brother Ray summarized
Yeah.
exactly what the last part is. You can, and again, I hate to make so many correlations to sports, but I feel like sports are relevant to life.
Very relevant.
You can watch a sport, you can go to practice and do a sport, you can watch all the film and do all the routes and do all that, but until you are on the court or in the field or actually being a practitioner of some of life's experiences, there really is no playbook.
Yeah.
And like you said, you mentioned people being on their own journey. Trey's journey is going to be maybe similar to mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be the same. His circumstances, his relationships, his obstacles, his things he's going to need to overcome, his personality, his people, all these things are fluid and very subjective to the individual.
Yeah.
And so while he's fortunate to be in good hands with us as elders and elders, still young professionals.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I got that out.
I agree in the camera. I'm gonna make sure whatever we got for that clip on TikTok, that we highlight that.
Yeah.
That we are here to impart knowledge and wisdom, but understand like the answers to the test may look a little bit different.
Yeah.
From your life experience.
All right.
Something you said, reminded me of, I was watching this story and there's life lessons even in the movies. And this particular story where the father was sick in the hospital and he wanted his daughter to do something and she said, Dad, I can't do that. And he recognized that she was afraid.
Yeah.
One thing he told her is, wear your own shoes. We all wear shoes. I can't wear your shoes. I can't wear yours because different sizes. I may not even like your shoes. But he told his daughter, wear your own shoes.
Yeah.
Because only you can fit in your shoes. Your shoes are molded to your feet. And I thought about that and I wanted to maybe pin that and
That's good.
write a session on that.
Yeah.
Wearing your own shoes.
And I find that very important because, I feel like as we are growing on that life journey, it's sometimes hard to define your own path, right?
Yeah.
We have so many people in front of us. Trey, I can only imagine what peer pressure looks like. You know what I mean? Being a teenager, I know what it was for me. And then so for me, I didn't, I had a blended family, right? So I had mom and dad, but also had stepdad and stepmom. And so I get a lot of benefits from that, right? But also times I got a lot of gaps in that. Because who's everybody pointing like, which one's gonna teach them? Like, you know what I mean? That's what it kind of felt like, you know what I mean? Because everybody had a message, right? But it's like, okay, this one gets left out, right?
Sure.
So, but going through our own experiences, growth is often formed through, the responsibility we take, mistakes, and life's defining moments. So I'll ask this question next, right? And maybe I'll start with you, Marlon. What challenge or mistake became your greatest teacher? The one you're willing to share, of course.
I would probably say challenge and mistake may create the greatest teacher. I would probably say I think going to college is a great thing. I think we push college to a lot of people, but I think we look at college sometimes in a very singular model, like or very one track. Like I'm going to college, I want to do this program, I'm going to study this. This school is good for that, or I'm going to play football. This football is good, you know, good program. They're going to give me a scholarship, so that's kind of like my focus instead of looking at, you know, experience, whether it's college or just moving away or in general, looking at like the full high. So like looking at, you know, the other kind of people that are going to be at this university, looking at some of the other majors, looking at some of the alumni, looking at some of the different experiences. And I went to a school here that a lot of people did not look like me. And I wish I kind of had explored that more instead of like just finding my way with people who I could relate to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so taking more time to meet people from different places, different experience, and build those relationships. My roommate did that, and he has a lot of those relationships to this day. And it's people that he started businesses with. It's people that he's, you know, introduced to their significant other and their partner. And so you kind of look back and say, well, what possibilities could there be for this life had I just kind of opened myself up more to different kind of people and experiences and try different things, as opposed to, well, these guys walk like me, they talk like me, they dress like me, they hoop. I'm go with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even still, when I connect people from, you know, the university years later, or even just going back to high school, just giving more time to say, man, like, don't be so quick to just line yourself up or align yourself with individuals who have the same similar experience as you or look like you do.
Yeah, that's good. You know, Ray, for a lot of your seasoned years, and that's really a deep question, right? So, but what challenge youth or mistakes became your greatest teacher? What do you feel about
I'm
that?
so glad you asked that question.
Okay, all right, cool.
The question is, what challenges or mistakes? Exactly that. Challenges, mistakes,
Yeah.
and failure. Because how can you succeed if you haven't tried?
That's good.
And then if you fail in trying, what are you going to do? You're going to stay down, or you're going to keep trying? I don't know any statistics as far as batting statistics or even Michael Jordan hoop statistics, but I heard that he missed more shots than he did making them.
Yeah.
But he kept trying. He did it. And so what challenges mistakes? It's the challenges. That challenge can be good. That mistake can be good. That failing can become good. Because each challenge, each mistake, each failure that you make, you know not to do that again.
Yeah.
And it's nothing but growth after that. The best teacher growing up, going through, if I can say, high school years, college years, being married, having family, it's those mistakes.
Yeah.
It's those challenges
Yeah.
that I had to face. And if I didn't do it right the first time, hopefully I can make it up again.
Yeah. You know, we're going to get to another piece here, but I wanted to ask this. You know, I felt like, and I don't know how you feel, and I kind of want to know about this in your opinion, Trey. You know, growing up for us, at least for me, I'll speak for myself, like, I feel like the information that I needed to know about the next level was kind of like hidden. You know what I mean? That I had to figure it out on my own. I hope you don't feel like that. You know what I mean? I hear Ray talking about challenges and us going through growth. Like, what is it, if you had a chance, you got these seasoned young professionals all here, right? Like, what is it that, is there any information or anything that you say that you need to understand from your generation about us generation, about our older generation? Like, is there something that we could pour into you more? You like, why don't men do this? Or why, are you ever have those deep questions that you think could be helpful? Is there something that you can resonate or pull out from that?
I don't know if this is going a little bit off topic, but I say like definitely like mental health aspect of things. Like not a lot of men, especially today, take their mental health serious, and I think that's actually like a very serious aspect of life is taking care of your mental health, because mental health can lead to how you do sports wise, not to affect everything in sports, but sports wise, academic wise, what you're going to do now, what you're going to do 5 years later is just what you're going to do in life. I think that's
So you're saying that you have to be strong mentally,
I think
mentally tough,
I think you
just tough.
I think especially on like a day-to-day basis, because you don't know what's going to come, what's going to hit you.
Just tough.
I
Yeah.
think you have to be mentally tough.
You know what? You bring up an interesting point, Trey. I don't feel like mental health, I'll speak for me again, was a conversation growing up. I think in my last 5-10 years, like, or maybe 10 years of my life, like, if that, I would say 5, that mental health has been a conversation for me. And so is that something that you seem like your generation and you embrace a lot bit more? Because we only see men be tough, like, you know what I mean? So is that,
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely not hit on more as it should be, but I think it's starting to get there as the world progresses. I think it's definitely starting to get taken more serious than it was, but it's not there yet. It's not where it needs to be, as like you have to be mentally strong to go, like I said, day to day, because you don't know what's going to happen. So
that's fun. That's good. That's really important. I'll say this here. So we talked about the money. We talked about growth. Talked about our learning experiences. Some of those learning experiences come down to money, right? Comes down to work opportunity. We like to call it the grind, the hustle, the way we all get the bag. This is also a big piece of our learning, right? Our journey. So I want to think about a couple things that I think maybe Marlon, you could help us through, right? What financial lessons, let's make it more personal, then we'll talk about maybe some things that can maybe help us all. What financial lessons did you learn late that you wish you knew early?
It's a lot of, because like Brother Rafa said, there's really no new things. There's things that become more, focused on or highlighted.
Yeah.
But I think for me, just across like the financial spectrum of things, being told just never to leave the house with money, and what does that really mean? Well, it means save your money. It means, budget accordingly. Do we go through those things as a best practice and explanation? No, it comes out as don't leave the house with no money. Don't be out here asking people for money so they thinking we ain't got no money at home.
That's right.
Now, we don't have no money at home, but don't leave it,
Right.
like that. And the other part I would say really is credit. I think now, I got to college, got to the parking lot. My dad gave me a credit card and said, use it for emergencies. Emergencies is a very loose term for an 18-year-old getting out the car in August of 2006.
Yeah,
so
right.
Emergencies
Absolutely.
is a very, very loose term. And so I think when, we start to begin to have more conversations about financial literacy and the importance of financial education just at an earlier age.
Yeah.
And just being more open and willing to kind of do a deep dive on those kind of dialogues. I think that's one thing I look back on and say, man, I wish I knew more of X, Y, A, B, and C, credit, budgeting, savings, even just buying a house and understanding what that does for your overall net worth as an individual, that you have an asset. And so just understanding those things at an earlier age, I think is something I wish I would have known.
Yeah. No, that's pretty good. I would say this, what financial wisdom should never be skipped between generations? Maybe that's something that you think from your life experience.
One thing my dad used to tell me, and I didn't understand it until later in life. Save $1. Save $1.
Under the mattress?
Just
Just joking.
just save $1.
Yeah.
It didn't hit me until, later. And I kept saying, when I did my financial literacy classes, I would say, save $1. Like, where did I get that from?
Yeah.
Like, my dad used to tell me, save $1. Save $1. I wish I would have saved $1 when he told me to save $1. Like I told the group earlier, I said, man, what I know now, if I would have known it then, I would be a millionaire today. Literally. Marlon talked about credit. Same thing. I've got some tips on credit, understanding your debt, things like that. I tell people when you pay off a bill, always ask for a payoff letter.
Yeah.
Things like that. And the number one thing is just save $1. Is it and Marlon, we all know this, is it a need or a want?
Yeah. That's a big one. Isn't it a need or a want? Trey, what are you currently taught? What do you know about money? What you wish you knew more of? All the above. How do you feel?
Well, I'm thankful, lucky to be in a program like this where
All
they
right.
teach me about money.
That's good.
Show them your shirt. Show them your
Oh yeah, epic counselor shirt.
Quarter zip.
Um,
The quarter zip.
Go ahead and plug that in.
oh yeah.
Quarter zip club. Quarter zip.
All right.
So I know a little bit about money. I say more than the average high schooler, but it's definitely important to save and invest. And
Yeah.
one thing I do wish I was taught more about is credit, though, because I don't really know too much about credit. All I know is you don't want to be too low on the credit score. You just want to be in the 700s. That's all I really know. But
It's a good starting spot.
yeah. But
More than what I.
Yeah.
That's right.
and you don't want to skip any payments. You want to be on time with your payments, even pay a little bit extra sometimes. Yeah, that's one thing I wish I knew about more is credit. But I'm lucky to be in a program like this where they teach us about financial literacy and the importance of saving, investing, all the above. So.
All right. So you go on your first date. Are you paying for it, or you?
Oh yeah, no, of course I'm paying for it. I think that's just the right thing to do.
All right. Yeah. We can't unpack that today, but you know what I mean. I just had to throw that out there. Okay. All right. So you got a gentleman in here. Okay. All right. Shout out to Trey. Maybe I'll start with you, Trey. What do as we think about this conversation between generations, right? And this is good. We talk about money, finances, our own growth, our personal mistakes, failures, how we evolve. What do boys need more of today? What does the next generation need more of today? What guidance? What would help the younger generation grow?
I think everybody needs someone to look up to and a mentor to not follow, but to paint their path for them almost. It's because I think everybody has skills. Everybody has a nice skill set. It's just about whether or not how they're going to use it, how they're going to go about using their skills. And I'm going to go back to this, thankful for this program. I've been taught how to use my communication skills, how to use my leadership skills to get me into higher positions that a normal high schooler or someone my age wouldn't be able to get into. But that's definitely one of something that I think the younger generation should take is definitely a mentor or someone to look up to.
And that's good, and I would say for me being a almost not young professional anymore, right? One of the I'm in my red shirt. That's right. I'm wearing that jersey proudly. I'm on the team. So one thing that's really important that I feel like sometimes my generation, I'll speak for myself. I don't want to generalize everybody. I feel like the older generation doesn't share. You always shared. I'll say this. Now, one thing I'll say about my father-in-law, he's always shared 100%. But we collectively feel like, I can't say we, but I collectively feel like that more people should share the game. And we feel like, I feel like, man, sometimes I be hanging dry, dog. And we're like, I know some old guy has been through this before, right? So what are some things that you feel like could be shared more, or we could learn, or we could benefit from at your age?
Actually taking Trey, getting Trey's number, texting Trey at 4 in the morning, texting him.
He ain't gonna respond.
Texting Trey in the morning, not too early, and keeping him encouraged, letting him know that I'm thinking about him. I wrote some things down as far as guidance. Making sure you have a dad, you have uncles, wherever, but having that outside. I heard this the other day, is that I'm a quarterback and I've got the football and I'm telling you to go long, go long, go long. With my experience, I'm throwing the ball and you're running down the field, posted. And my experience is the vault. And I want you to catch that ball for a touchdown. The thing is that you did catch it. So all of my experiential knowledge that I've gone through and been through and have seen is in that ball. Now, 20, 30 years later, you're catching that ball and you're running with. I told a group this.
Yeah, I was gonna say what you said about just people like sharing. I think, me and you kind of being the same age. I think that's probably the right.
And I may say that because my age group, we don't shit.
Yeah, y'all are.
We don't. Maybe I should get out here. That analogy is passing the baton. We don't pass the baton. Brother Lunker, we don't pass the baton.
He's still in your professional phase.
That's what I'm saying. We don't pass the baton to you. Because again, there's nothing changed. Just time and people. But same thing, man. Parity.
I think it's more about the generations being afraid of losing something themselves by sharing the information with people that follow them. And I'm not so sure that thought process isn't subcultural. That's true. And the reason why is because, in those times when there were times when sharing in our community get you in will be trouble. So when you start talking about, us passing things down to generations, it's like that in professional careers as well. It just, I think in our particular culture, some very tough thing. And it's true that we don't share it, but hearing the young man talk about men and their mental health and not being able to express that and is the ability to realize that. So lets me know you guys are doing something right here for sure.
Appreciate that.
Nice. So I don't know the facts, but it's true that in our Black culture, we've been having not the privilege of knowing a lot. And it's that mentality of the flea in the jar. We can go so high or realize that the top is off. And now I think we may be the only culture that does not grab you by your bootstraps and lift or even reach down and grab you up and say, I want you to come with me to work. I want you to know what I know.
Yeah, I think it's a lot about autonomy too. I just talked to my team about this a month. When we roll out a strategy or something that we're going, it's not about that strategy being about me giving it to you to do it. It's about giving you a baseline to create it for your own career development.
Right.
So as you go and we give you this baseline, run with that baseline, you turn it into something that you can tell the story for the next thing that you're going to write. I think that all goes back into mentorship.
Yeah.
And in those things. Hearing a young man say, I need a mentor, we need to have more mentors. That's a really good thing to hear from that generation. Because you just don't hear kids say that a lot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
My wife and I are going through the Bible, and just so happened there was a Bible story of Joshua and Moses. Joshua, after Moses had died, it was interesting because the people, 600,000 people saying, Moses is there. Who's going to lead us? And then the Lord is telling Joshua, you're next. How old is Joshua?
12?
He's 40, under 40.
Oh,
he was 40.
Oh, was he? Joshua's young professional.
He was young professional.
Young professional.
He was 40. And God was telling Joshua, be of good courage. Be courageous. Don't worry about it. Moses taught you well. I'm going to strengthen you. You're going to make it. So that's what we're saying on this.
That's pretty solid. That's a good conversation. And so today was very impactful. It's very important to have this multi-generational conversation. And even as we ended learning the lessons of life, our transitions, right? How we all grew, what shaped us. The lessons about finance, right? That definitely shaped us, sometimes hurt us. But even passing the baton, right? From the older generation, sharing the knowledge to the younger generation. And for you all, continue sharing your needs openly and how we could better relate. I mean, I think those are very necessary conversations. So gentlemen, thank you for, today's conversation. This is about lessons learned to lessons passed. It's more than a conversation. It's a commitment for us all to ensure that the knowledge, experience, and lessons of one generation create stronger pathways for the next. So that's it. That's our epic podcast for today.
All right.
And thank you all. Thank you, brother.